Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue looking into some of the commonly used Chinese expressions to depicting the ideal beauty in women. And most of the beauty are women because, of course, language was mostly used by men back then, and their love interest, their object of depiction is women. So today we're going to talk about 翩若惊鸿。翩若惊鸿, just like the English translation. Look at the English translation. Fly like startled swan. Do you have such close encounter with a wild bird that you come up close to them and they got startled and they fly away? They have this explosive energy to fly away, to escape from predator, so to speak, right? That's kind of a fight or flight mode of a bird. But the way the bird can do it is really elegant. And the poet in China, almost 2,000 years ago, captured a moment, startled swan, used that on a woman. And this pian, actually, I translate it as a fly because I don't know the exact English word to mean fly fast, like sonic speed. So the pian made of two pairs of wings. You can see here, right? This is a wing and two of them. And these are the feathers on the wing. For Chinese, repeating the same structure 3 times is a lot. That means heavily feathered wings, 2 of them. Now the left side, this thing means 1 panel door. Chinese have 1 panel door, 2 panel doors. So whoever has 2 panel door means they have a bigger doorway, right? They can afford the space of 2 panel door. Most of people, homes use 1 panel door. I think in contemporary living, most of us, 1 panel door is enough. It serves the function of door opening. You don't really need a big door unless, it's a big mansion, right? In proportion to that. So this 1 panel door paired with, oh my God, 5 vertical lines. Okay, technically, I don't draw that. In contemporary Chinese, it simplifies into four vertical lines with 1 horizontal line. But ancient Chinese is 5 vertical lines connected with 2 horizontal lines. It depicts the railing in ancient times. So the railing panel of door creates an image of something. I guess in ancient times, the door panel has some sort of railing to separate a private from public space, and the whole thing, the railing pair with the 1 panel door together, that means something flat. So that's something up to imagination, or I can do more search, kind of archaeology, to look into ancient times, how people live, have their 1 panel door thing, how that then converts to the sense of flatness. But I guess the 1 panel door is kind of flat, and the railing from the side view is flat, even if both from the front view looks pretty spacious, but from the side view, both of them are flat. Okay, flat pair of wings together, that means flying fast. So I guess when birds are flying, recently I had the fortune to look at birds in nature. And when they are flying, a lot of times they are soaring, right? They spread out their wings without a flattering. So that's the moment when the wings are wide span, flat. Not necessarily flying fast, because if you want to change the speed, you have to paddle, you have to flutter your wings. So this depicts the moment when I'm reading this now. I have a different reading from the language scholars. Language scholars said this is fast flying, but I'm viewing it as flat winged, right? Flat wings. When birds are flat winged, that means they are gliding through the air without making an effort. They're kind of airborne, in a state of they're not falling because they have wings. but they are not struggling either. They are kind of staying still, gliding through the air. And I guess when a swan gets startled, they will escape quickly, and then they will soar above you, and then they are untouchable. Like you cannot simply reach them. And that's how it creates the image of a living being, which is the swan. Once it's startled, once it escaped from a human approach encounter, it has this capacity to glide through the air without struggling. It's an easy escape for them. Even if at the beginning it's a startled state, but eventually it regained their posture, they can just glide through the air, escape from danger. That's, I think, is more appropriate. Okay, 弱. We have comparison here. It means flying as if, fly away or glide through the air, airborne, as if it's a startled swan, right? So this like have this plant symbol, two of them means a cluster of plants, and then the mouth symbol at the bottom. So between plant and mouth is a three-finger hand symbol. Chinese have a ton, and actually it's a right hand because we have left hand that looks like this, right hand that looks like this. In this case, it's only right hand. It's situated between the plant and the mouth. In hunter-gatherer society, okay, way back when we don't have farming yet. So woman's supposed to be the gatherer. And this is supposedly the woman's hand. They are going to pick the right plant to feed the mouse there. So this hand picking moment was captured in there. And this picking moment eventually becomes this comparison thing. And I'm thinking probably because the hunter-gatherer society, whoever does the gathering job have to be able to discern plant from plant, from edible from inedible, poisonous from things that are good for you. So this like then become this from the discerning, right, to tell the difference to the ability to recognize similarity. So there is this twist in the middle, actually. So if 弱 is like you as a gatherer, you can tell edible from inedible. This is differentiation. But then now in the language use, it becomes a comparison, means this looks like that. It's kind of integration. Like even if there are two different plants, you can probably mix them together, make a salad or something. Like both of them, even if they're looking different, they can both be edible. And in any case, that involves a human filtering or human selection process by injecting the hand. Is that the right word? By placing the hand in between the plant and mouse. They give you the sense of this is human judgment in between. And then there is either similarity or difference, discerning moment there. Okay, that's 弱. 惊鸿, okay. 惊 is made of a horse. This is a horse image. And this three-finger hand symbol. Sorry, I'm covering it. I guess I can do this. Oh, yay, okay. Three-finger hand symbol again, you see. This looks just like that. Holding, supposedly a whip. So some object in the hand. And the left side is, okay, this is the sheep's horn. Sheep's horn in Chinese represent virtual, because it talks about, just like in English, lamb was used as a sacrifice, animal sacrifice, the best kind of meat sacrifice to offering to the god. So eventually lamb means sacrifice. And you have the big wrapping and the mouth symbol there. So this mouth symbol means speaking, right? But you wrap the speaking under something. And then there is this morally virtuous. So virtuously filtered, wrapped, edited speaking. That's the left side, what that means. It means you use your word kindly. Before you let out, before you speak, you have this first defense line, this wrapping around you. So you're kind of self-editing, you're self-judging if the word is kind enough, because we're talking about lamb, like virtuous speaking. Now, this virtuous speaking, this self-filtered speaking, kindness, paired with this hand whipping. So this is kind of enforced, like force somebody to do something by having, this corporal punishment almost look, versus this moral confinement, right? The boundary, like what you can or cannot say. This is what you cannot do. Paired with horse together, it means it's almost like inflicting some sort of pain or confinement on the horse. Make the horse startle. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But this is Jing that came from surprising the horse with confinement. I guess you cannot really socially confine a horse, but you definitely can, whip the horse into action or stop. I don't exactly know. I don't know much about a horse, but in Chinese, we use that horse icon as the red animal representation of how it would look like if the horse got surprised. Okay. Hong, we have water sign on the left. This craft, ancient engineering symbol. This is the, perpendicular angle maker, the type of tool ancient engineers would use to create buildings, to make sure buildings don't collapse. So that's craftsmanship. The water, and the right side is a young bird that we just saw a moment ago, a few episodes ago. This is a bird. So all these drapey parts are the bird's feathers, kind of soft, drapey, fluffy, drapey image, right? And here is the bird's, the head of the birds, again, I guess, however you want to view it. So the bird, crafty, water. That means, okay, at least this bird is water-based bird. So some birds don't live close to water, right? Some do. So this is a water-based bird. And with this kind of craftiness, the three icons all together means swan in Chinese. So startled swan would fly away, escape, eventually soar above you, just gliding through the air. It's untouchable. And that's how graceful that bird would be, depicted just by those 4 Chinese characters. And the rule is just like comparison, to give you the language cue to know, okay, we're not really talking about startled swan, we're comparing human behavior as if it's startled swan. And this Pian have this flowiness, have this, airborne gliding quality, this evenness, this gracefulness. And I translate the graceful. When we talk about graceful, it's the closest English I can come up with, but it doesn't give you the imagery, rich imagery contained over there, as I explained earlier. But 翩若惊鸿 is the starting phrase from a poem dedicated to Lady Zhen. Zhen Mi is the lady's name. She was recorded as one of the top 3 beauties in the era, pretty much almost 1800 years ago, that was recorded, documented. And even, how many people born that early on have their birth and death year recorded? Not that many, right? She made it into history book, have her lifespan pinned down as accurate as that, testify to her importance in history because of her made it into this famous poem. Okay, so there was a little bit of complication over there. So she was a beauty, top 3, okay. And then, of course, the beauty as a resource back then in history, I mean, in contemporary, like you can monetize it in contemporary, right? But in ancient society, there's no such thing as monetize commercially. I guess prostitution is one way, but it was not easy for women to do that. Ancient times, if you stand out with your look, you would be, I mean, there were chances of you were selected to be sent to the palace to become, the top ruler's woman. Supposedly you have a good life, right? You're covered because you're the most powerful man in the country pick you, but it's huge competition. Picture that, one man, many beauties around the nation. It's like a Miss Universe, all going to the same guy. Okay, picture that, but on the scale of ancient times, China, kind of like that. So this Lady Jane made it to the king's side, but the king's 2 sons, older son, saw her, charmed, won her, kind of had a fight with the father and got her. Okay, the prince was still eventually made the prince, made into the ruler. And it's the second brother who was the poet, captured her beauty and made her eternalized. That we can, I mean, back then it was definitely no photography, no film. And we can only reconstruct her beauty by the words recorded in here. And this is the opening stanza, so to speak. 翩若惊鸿. Like, it's not about her look exactly. It's her movement that's so touching. Give you this elegancy as if it's a startled swan move through the air like that. And that's the beginning. I hope one day I'm going to walk through the whole poem because it's such a rich language use to depict her. The second son cannot touch her because the father and the older brother, who's the future king, fighting over her. So the second, the poet, can only see, cannot touch. And that's the beauty he captured and made her eternal. Because there were many beauties in Chinese, like name recorded, yes. But someone who was captured by a poet through a poem like dedicated to her, specially depicting her. Before we have a visual representation, we can only linguistically imagine her look. That's a rare thing. And this is not like commissioned poet, kind of like commissioned artist drawing huge portrait of rich people like 200 years ago in the West, right? It was not like commissioned. Like the second son really felt it. And it's distant beauty, untouchable beauty. And he captured in his poem. And I want to compare it to Shakespeare's sonnet, famous sonnet 18 says, so long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. It's exactly what happened, is the poet captured her beauty, eternalized her beauty, so that thousands of years later, we can reimagine 翩若惊鸿, like what? So this is a movie scene depicting the story, and I guess the actress is trying to I'm not sure if an actress is dancer, but because of the poem, there is a certain body movement requirement of the actress that she need to move through space gracefully as if startled swan. All right, cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie Singh.